Greetings to all. Welcome to Future Officers Academy. Today we are going to see the hot topic of the year, day 5. To get daily current affairs videos, follow our channel. Now we'll move on to the first topic. Today our first topic is about personal laws. Generally, what is personal laws? We know that India is a multicultural nation with a wide range of customs, beliefs, and civilizations. The diversity is reflected in India's legal system, which coexists with the secular and religious legislation, particularly with regard to marriage. India's diverse cultural and religious landscape is reflected in its personal laws, which helps us to permit different communities to follow their own religious texts and customs. When it comes to in personal affairs, this coexistence of a secular legal systems and the religious laws with a democratic framework is highlighted by the existence of personal laws. These are about the personal laws. There are many major personal laws in India. What are they? The first one is Hindu personal law, second Muslim personal law, Christian personal law, and Parsi personal law. Under this Hindu personal law, we have many acts such as Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act 1955. Next, the Hindu Marriage Act 1955. Next, the Hindu Succession Act of 1956. Also, the Hindu Minority and Guardianship Act 1956. These are all the acts we have under the Hindu personal laws. Also, Sikhs, Jains, Buddhists, and Hindus are all subject to these laws. They addresses about the guardianship, adoption, divorce, maintenance, and the inheritance. To the next is Muslim personal law. Under the Muslim personal law, we have various conventional interpretations of Sharia as well as the Muslim personal law. That is the Muslim personal law, Shariat. Shariat Application Act of 1937. These rules addresses a variety of topics that is included marriage, says about marriage, divorce, inheritance, and maintenance. Here the marriage they say about nikah, and divorce is talaq, inheritance is virashat, and maintenance is nafkah. And next is Christian personal law. The Christian personal law says that the Indian Divorce Act of 1869 and the Indian Christian Marriage Act of 1872. What are the two laws under the Christian personal law is? The first one is Indian Divorce Act 1869 and the next is Indian Christian Marriage Act of 1872. These two acts come under Christian personal laws. Also, the Indian Christian communities marriage, divorce and maintenance issue are covered under this law. The final is the Parsi Personal Law. The Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act, which is Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act 1936. It is applicable to only the Indian Parsi communities. This also says about divorce, marriage and other personal issues which are covered. Here, next you have to know about what is the personal laws and the Special Marriage Act law. You have to know about the difference between the personal laws and the Special Marriage Act law. Under the personal law, we have separate communities and their own laws. But in Special Marriage Act law, it is not similar to that. Personal laws are unique religious communities that they are intended to serve, but in different sets of personal rules apply to like separate peoples, Muslims, Christians, Parsis and Hindus, which include also Sikhs, Jains and Buddhists in India. But in Special Marriage Act law, which is the Special Marriage Act, it says about it was enacted in order to give married couples a legal foundation regardless to their religious and spiritual beliefs. Since it is secular legislation, it is not governed by any religious traditions or conventions. A marriage certificate, which is a legitimate a legal document verifying the marriage, is issued by the marriage officer in the marriage is registered under this act. Now we have to know about the Personal Laws Amendment 2019. It is the major piece of legislation passed by the Indian Parliament, the Personal Laws Amendment Act 2019, which aims to add a 5 personal law status by eliminating leprosy as a reason of divorce or separation. It deals about the Personal Laws Amendment Act of 2019. What are the key amendments of this act? The key amendments acts are comes under the first one is the Hindu Marriage Act, (1955), the Dissolution of Muslim Marriage Act 1939, the Divorce Act of 1869, the Special Marriage Act, and the Hindu Adoptions and Maintenance Act of 1956. The amendment specifically removes the leprosy as the ground for divorce, thereby supporting the rights and dignity of those who served by the disease. This change reflects modern medical advancements that have made leprosy as a curable condition, especially with the introduction of multi-drug therapy in 1980s. Also, we have to know about the Uniform Civil Code. The Uniform Civil Code comes under Article 44. We know that Article 44 comes under the DPSP, Directive Principles of State Policy, which says about the Uniform Civil Code. It states that the state shall make efforts to obtain for the citizens a consistent civil code across the territory of India. Is at the center of discussion around the implementation of consistent civil code in India. Also, all citizens, regardless of their religion, would be subject to the same set of rules governing the personal laws. This would guarantee justice and equality for all, particularly for women living in different communities. There has been a criticism to the proposal from a number of sources who believe it jeopardize cultural identity and religious freedom. These are the things about the personal law. Now we will move on to the second topic, that is National Education Policy 2022. National Education Policy 2020. Here now we have to know about what is National Education Policy. The National Education Policy 2020 nothing but it seeks to change education at secondary and post-secondary levels in order to position India as a global leader in knowledge. This based on the fundamental tenets of accessibility, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability is in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Agenda of 2030. The national education policy is wanted to make school and college education more holistic, flexible, and multidisciplinary, suited to the demands of the 21st century and focused on bringing out the individual talents of each student in order to transform India into a thriving knowledge society and global knowledge superpower. Now, here new policy this aims for universalization of education. It aims for universalization of education from preschool to the secondary level with 100% gross enrollment ratio in school education by 2030. It also emphasizes the foundational literacy and numeracy, no rigid separation between academic streams, extracurricular and vocational streams in school. Also, National Education Policy 2020 advocates increased use of technology with equity, also with technology forum to be created. It also set up a gender inclusion fund. It also sets up gender inclusion fund and special education zones for disadvantaged regions and groups. It also promotes multilingualism in both schools and higher education. The National Institute for Pali, Persian and Prakrit Indian Institute of Translation and Interpretation to be set up. Now we'll see the national education policy in the level of school education. In school education, it ensures the universal access at all levels of education level. From preschool to secondary, it is a key component of this National Education Policy 2022. It also says about the early childhood care and education with new curricular and pedagogical structure. It also says about attaining foundational literacy and numeracy. A national mission on foundational literacy and numeracy is required by this 2020, which acknowledges these skills as an urgent and essential precondition to learning. It also brings reforms in school curricula. Here they also provide the multilingualism and the power of language. Multilingualism and power of language. In this, the mother tongue, local language or regional language has been prioritized by the policy as the medium of teaching at least through grade 5 but ideally through grade 8 and beyond. Also, it has assessment reforms. It says about equitable and inclusive education. Equitable and inclusive education. The goal of National Education Policy 2020 is that no kid is denied the chance to study and succeed due to their background or place of birth, gender, socio-cultural and religion identities, as well as disabilities, or among the social and economical disadvantaged groups that will receive particular attention. This includes creating special education zones for underprivileged areas and populations, as well as the Gender Inclusion Fund. By establishing Bal Bhavans as a unique daytime boarding school and taking part in play, profession and art related activities will be encouraged for every state and district. It also says about the school governance. Schools can be arranged into clusters or complexes which will serve as the fundamental unit of government and guarantee the provisions of all resources such as academic, libraries, infrastructure, and robust community of professional teachers. Now we'll see some of the things which related to the higher education. Under higher education, we could say that it is the sector is envisioned in a very positive light by the new education policy. By 2035, it will raise the gross enrollment ratio to the 50 percentage. How much? 50 percentage it will raise by 2035. The objective of National Education Policy 2020 is to raise the gross enrollment ratio from 26.3 percentage to 50 percentage. Like we have in 2018 we have 26.3 percentage. By 2035 we have to increase it by 50 percentage in higher education, which includes the vocational education also. In this higher education, it says about the holistic multidisciplinary education. Also, the motivated, energized and capable faculty, mentoring mission, financial support for students. Like there will be an effort to reward the merit of pupils who fall under the SC, ST, OBC and other SEDG categories. It will be encouraged for private higher education institutions to provide more scholarships and freeships to their students. Also, under higher education, we have open and distance learning. Also, online education and digital education, technology in education, and promotion of Indian language. Also, these are the things comes under the National Education Policy of 2020. Now we'll move on to the next topic, that is National Statistical Organization, which is nothing but as NSO. What is NSO? NSO is the National Statistical Organization. It comes under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. The National Statistical Office is a statistical wing. NSO functions as a crucial component of the primary ministry with CSO and NSO. The Secretary Statistics and Program Implementation is in the charge of NSO. We know that we should know that NSO now is combined with, it is merged with CSO and NSSO, which is Central Statistical Office and National Sample Survey. These both, that is Central Statistical Office and a National Sample Survey, these both merged together and have formed the National Statistical Organization. So we have to know about separate these CSO and NSS. Now first we have to know what are the responsibilities comes under the National Statistical Office. It is the nodal organization that upholds standards and norms. It established the framework for the nation's statistical systems, planned development and concentrates on data processing and results distribution. It also makes sure that statistics works is integrated with various departments of the Indian government as well as the state statistic bureaus. Through a multitude of publications, NSO provides statistical data on many topics to government, semi-government and other corporate data users and agencies. Now we have to know separately about the CSO and NSSO. First, what is the National Sample Survey? It is a large scale sample survey covering the entire India are carried out by a National Sample Survey Office. It also comes under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, is the focal agency for all statistical activities conducted at the national level in India. Now, what it does, the statistics on rural and urban prices are gathered by NSSO. Crop statistics are improved through the utilization of gathered data. Also, the NSSO is in charge of overseeing the state agencies' crop estimation surveys on the area. The main objectives and functions of national sample surveys are to compile statistical data for planning and suggested policies. Also, it aids to development of statistical methods. It to predict potential future trends. Also, to release the data on demographic factors and socio-economic variables. Data of demographic and socio-economic variables. To provide such analysis to researchers working in socio-economic domains. It functions under the direction of Governing Council. The Governing Council is an independent institution which has the autonomy in the matter of collection, processing and publication of NSS data. Following is the composition of the Governing Council: non-official chairman, 5 academians, 5 data users from departments of central and state government, senior officers of the ministry. Now we'll know about the Central Statistics Office. It is an organization in India about deals with statistical activities. It is also responsible for evolving and maintaining statistical standards. The headquarters of CSO is located in Delhi, but now it is merged with NSSO and it become as NSO. The activities of CSO was held by the development of statistics in states and union territories for 5-year plan, human development statistics, gender statistics, imparting training in official statistics, also to conduct an annual survey of industries, and broadcasting statistical information, also broadcasting energy, construction and environmental statistics, such as it performs in various activities. These are all about the National Statistical Organizations. To get this PDF download, you can check in our description. Will be provided a Telegram link also in description. From there you can download these document. To get more daily current affairs videos, follow our channel. Thank you.